chassis seems to be in good order except for the spring castings. They've just broken free, and as you can see, no attempt whatsoever has been made to score up this area. I haven't got a clue what glue they used. They might not have used any at all. I can't see any. So let's rough up these aluminium chassis. I think it's aluminium because it's scratching quite easily. If only this was done in the first place. I'm going to have to scratch the back of these castings as well. I've just got alcohol now. I'm cleaning all the area with alcohol because there is oil around from where I oil it. Well, I've just given them a blow dry and a clean. I'm going to stick them back into place with super glue, hopefully not gluing up all the bearings in the process. I use this cheap super glue from Poundland, which I consider the very best super glue money can buy. With this special little dispenser, it's able to dispense a perfect amount of super glue exactly where it's required. You'll see this super glue come down the nozzle, and if I just run it into the corner, whoops, let's straighten that up. By capillary action, it goes underneath the casting. Note how the glue is sucked underneath the casting. So that's the glue under the castings. We'll leave this now to dry off thoroughly, and when it's painted you will never notice any marks at all. I'm now going to make a start on the crack on the bodywork. I'm going to remove any loose paint. Into that crack I'm actually going to run the super glue, and by capillary action it'll go in there, and at least it will seal it. It's also very good at filling in very, very small cracks. Well, I've just had my lunch and the super glue is all dry, but it's very rough. To make these smooth, I'm going to use one of these blocks of foam with aluminium oxide on them, but this is virtually worn out, and this is just perfect for doing this job. You want only the lightest of abrasion. So the bonnet has been smoothed off, and the super glue has filled all the cracks, and the sandpaper, which is all worn out, has smoothed it to perfection. Now we're up to the painting stage. I'm fortunate in that I have the spray can that I originally used for here, but this is gloss. But not to worry, because when we finish doing all the painting, we're blowing it over with matte varnish. You're going to find out what this little cap is for. And of course, for doing the black, we have a little water-based acrylic paint. Whenever you're doing a paint job, you always start with the lightest colour first, and it just so happens, of course, that the green is lighter than black. So we just spray some into an aerosol can. We're only going to need a very small amount like that. Now, aerosol paint is much more runnier than ordinary paint, so you can leave it to dry out a little so that it becomes thicker, but I'm actually going to paint it on thin and put quite a lot of thin layers on. So using my little paintbrush, I'm just going to touch in the green areas. Always do the lightest colours first. It'll take quite a few layers to build this one up to get the colour right. This is just the first. While the first layer of green is drying, I'm using some black acrylic here, and we'll touch in the bonnet area. Acrylic is really good. I didn't think I would like it when I first started using it, but it's got good coverage power, and when it dries it's almost like a spray finish. Not bad for an old man. Well, the black paint's on the brush. Might as well get in here and tidy up the springs. While we're waiting for the paint to dry, I'm just going to put the control console back in and secure it with the 2 screws. To fit these really small little screws in, I've got a great tool here. Holds the screws neatly for you like that. In they go. Holds the groove nice and secure while you're screwing it in. Then you can unclip it and it's away, and it's an ordinary screwdriver. This is from my opticianing days. While we're waiting for the paint to dry, you might like to have a look at what's underneath the bonnet. These are the 2 plugs that go to the switch console. Here is the Omni receiver, the Viper 10 speed controller, and there's the MylocoSound Diesel sound card that gives the rumble of the engine at the 2-tone horn and the brakes being released. The motor, of course, is at the back. And underneath is a nickel metal hydride Sub C battery that will last for hours and hours. While we're waiting for the paint to dry before we can varnish it, I'm going to put the cover back on again. First, of course, we've got to plug the radio control system into the console. 1 plug and 2 plugs. There we go. Back in with the cap screws. Back in with the under buffer beam screws. There we go. Well, it's all ready for doing the matte varnishing now, but before I do, I'm just going to accelerate the drying process just a little by warming the model where the paint's gone on. I saw a car body filler band do this once, and I've used it myself when I've wanted to accelerate things. Don't overdo it, you'll burn the paint, of course. This is a paint stripper gun after all. But I'm just warming the body so the paint will dry. The matte varnish I use is from the model aircraft world. It's called Fuel Proofer, and it really is superb paint for covering over all sorts of paint and leaving a beautiful matte finish. I'm outside now to do the matte varnishing, and just to get the dust off, use an ordinary paintbrush. This is just to get the flicks of dust off. Because of course if you use matte varnish it's going to stick all the dust in place otherwise. The matte varnish is put in a jug of warm water. This does 2 things. It reduces the viscosity of the paint, and it also excites the gas and puts it at a higher pressure, so we end up with a far finer jet. Shake off the water. The first thing I'm going to do is just very lightly blow over the areas where I've touched them up, just very lightly. Nothing more than that, and let it dry. Last of all, a quick blow over the whole thing. That'll do nicely. Well, there she is, all ready to go back to the customer. Except first of all, let's give her a test on my carriage sidings.